$104,000. That is how far ahead the unluckiest investor who ever lived finished, compared to the careful guy who waited for the perfect time to buy. Here is what makes no sense. For 20 years, this man had the worst timing alive. He put his money in at the exact top, right before every single crash. He never once got it right. And the careful guy who kept his money safe in cash, waiting for the dip? He lost to the worst investor in history by $104,000. This is Worlds Apart, where we expose the gap between what you're sold and the real number. And what you've been sold about waiting for the crash might be the most expensive advice in personal finance. Stick with me and you'll see exactly why, plus the two-word fix that beats almost everyone trying to time it. So why does everyone keep telling you to wait? Because waiting feels responsible. It sounds smart. Why buy now when the drop is coming? But look at who profits from that fear. The channels that need you clicking the next crash video. The newsletters selling you the date of the collapse. The guy who's predicted 9 of the last 2 recessions and sells gold in the same breath. They don't get paid when you invest. They get paid when you wait. Most of them aren't villains. A lot of them are scared too. But scared doesn't pay your future. So let's check the math on careful. Meet Steve. Steve is the careful one in his friend group, and he had a plan. The second the market crashed, he'd jump in and buy the dip. So he kept his money in cash and waited for the all clear. There was a dip. It didn't feel big enough. There was a scary headline. He waited for it to blow over. He wasn't planning to sit in cash forever. He just never got the signal that said now. Nobody ever rang the bell, and the market kept climbing without him. Steve's friend Alex did the boring thing instead. She faced the same fears and the same scary headlines. She just put a little in every month and let it ride, crash or no crash. Alex wasn't smarter than the rest of us. She just stopped waiting for a perfect moment that never comes. Okay. The people who study this for a living already ran this exact experiment. Picture 5 investors. Each one puts $2,000 into the S&P 500 every year for 20 years. Same money in. The only difference is when they buy. One has a superpower, perfect timing. Every year he buys at the exact bottom. Nobody can really do this, he's a fantasy. The next one is Alex. She just invests the day she gets the money. One drips it in monthly. One is our unlucky friend, buying at the exact top every year. And the last one is Steve, in cash, waiting for the crash. One of these 5 is about to make the other 4 look ridiculous. So after 20 years, who won? Don't worry about memorizing these. Just watch the order. Mr. Perfect Timing, the fantasy, finished on top. About $186,000. But look who's right behind him. Alex, who never thought about timing once. $170,000. And our unluckiest investor, the one who bought on the worst possible day for 2 decades straight? $151,000. Now here are numbers that end the whole debate. Being a perfect psychic market timer for 20 years beat just investing immediately by about $15,000. That's the entire prize for being perfect. 15 grand for doing the impossible every single year. And Steve, in cash? His 20 years of patience turned $40,000 of savings into about 47. Everyone who actually invested, even the worst-timed person alive, more than tripled it. The unlucky guy beat Steve by $104,000. And Alex, who just invested? $123,000 ahead. So here's the gap. The world they sell you is a hero who waits, nails the crash, and buys the exact bottom. The real world is boring and a lot kinder. The winner wasn't the one who timed it. It was the one who showed up and stayed in. Time in the market beat timing the market. For every single person who didn't sit it out. If your stomach just dropped a little, good. That's this whole channel. Every week on Worlds Apart, I take one thing you've been sold and show you the real number behind it. Subscribe, and you'll see the next one before it costs you. So what do you actually do? 1. If your money's sitting in cash waiting for the perfect entry, the best day to start was years ago. The second best is today. 2. Make it automatic. A set amount every month, no decision, no watching the news. And it doesn't have to be big. Even $20 a month beats waiting. 3. Got a lump sum and you're nervous? Split it into a few monthly buys. It barely changes the result, and it's easier to actually do. 2 honest catches, because I won't sell you a fantasy either. This is money you won't need for at least 5 years. Your emergency fund and next year's rent stay in cash, full stop. And if you're near retirement with a big lump sum, the same logic holds. Just ease it in over a year or two and keep your near-term money safe. And one more honest thing. Cash pays more interest today than it did for most of those 20 years. But that just pays you a little to keep waiting. It still can't tell you when to jump back in. The market will also dip sometime right after you buy. That's normal, not a mistake. The people who win just don't sell when it does. A crash will come. They always do. But the crash was never Steve's real risk. The real risk was the 20 years he spent waiting for it. So tonight, do the one thing Steve didn't. Open the app and set one small automatic transfer, even 20 bucks. You don't have to be perfect, and you don't have to be lucky. You just have to stop waiting for a bell that never rings. Next time on Worlds Apart, they sold your parents a policy, called it an investment, and promised it was safe. Buying simple term insurance and investing the difference instead? Over a lifetime, that gap can run well past $100,000. That's world number 2. I'll see you there.